all eyes are still turned to Athens, Greece. And for that, we turn our eyes to Charles Forelle, who is somewhere in London. You finally got, you're fed up with Athens. You can't even go there anymore, Charles.
I'm retreating to a colder climate.
Now, what is they're meeting again? This time it's to actually go over the detailed package that has been negotiated between European Union authorities, the ECB, and the interim Greek government of Papademos. Are we expecting anything out of this meeting?
Well, there is a hope that there will be some sort of approval from the Greek political parties. There's an enormous number of people negotiating this agreement. There's the IMF, there's the Euro group, there are other Eurozone countries, basically everybody except the Greek political parties. So now that the agreement has been reached, they're going to the Greek political parties and saying, the parties that make up the coalition really, and saying, look, is this okay? They're trying to present it as a fait accompli and just a rubber stamp, but obviously no political party leader wants to be seen as the guy giving the rubber stamp. So, they have been over the last couple of days making a lot of noise about their problems with it. But there should be some resolution to this reasonably soon. I say that very hesitantly since people have been saying that now for weeks.
All right. Now, just the issues in Greece is, A, they have a very fractured government, the parliamentary system of government, fractured, lots of different parties. And then B, the reality is there's an election coming up in early April, I believe, in Greece. And so there's not really the incentive for any Greek politician to actually go ahead and just rubber stamp an agreement.
So there's a technocratic government being run by an interim prime minister right now, and the concern of the European authorities is they reach a deal with this interim government, and then there's an election in April, and the new government comes in and says, forget it, we'll tear this up and start over. So they want, before the agreement is signed, to have a commitment from all of the political parties, the major political parties across the spectrum, to make sure that it doesn't get undone in 6 weeks' time.
Right.
So there's real pressure on the opposition leader in Greece to basically join with his opponents, and everybody supports the bailout, which is obviously not popular in Greece.
Right. Now, in terms of Greece's standing amongst its European neighbors, is it possible that Greek credibility could get any lower?
It has tumbled dramatically in the last probably 3 or 4 months, and particularly in the last several weeks. There's been enormous frustration on the part of many inside European policy circles that Greece hasn't just done what everybody wants Greece to do. But keep in mind that it's very difficult for Greece. I mean, there's a lot of budget cutting and austerity and recession and unpleasant, uncomfortable things that are built into this bailout. That is the price of getting money, that seems not negotiable, but at the same time, the Greeks are not happy about it.
At what point, let's do a what if, and I know it's hard, but let's say they can't agree tonight and this thing gets pushed off till tomorrow. At what point does an Angela Merkel or a Nicolas Sarkozy or someone from the EU headquarters just picks up the phone, calls Papademos and say, you know what, you guys have blown it, we're fed up, we're done with you folks? Is that even a possible scenario?
It's a very difficult scenario for the Europeans to imagine, in large part because what it means is a big, messy debt default on Greece's part. Greece has a bond payment coming due in March. They don't have the money for that. They need the Europeans to give them money so that they can make the bond repayment. If there's a big disagreement, that bond doesn't get paid, there is a messy default. It is an interesting and unresolved question just how bad that would be. I mean, there are a lot of people in the markets who say Greek bonds are trading at abysmal levels anyway. People are well prepared for the potentiality of a messy default, and there is there is at least increased leverage from the point of view of the Eurozone governments that they could say that maybe we'll let this happen and it won't cause such dramatic problems. But the European authorities are uncomfortable with things that they can't understand, and a messy default is something they don't really understand.
Right.